Hello, everybody, and welcome to Nightlines Live, number 6. Today, we're letting the ladies take over. Only thing is, none of them showed up. Just kidding. All right. First one on the list, we have Miss Betty Jean from Ohio. Hi, Betty. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Good. Next, we have Violet from Illinois. Violet Talley.
Hi, guys.
We have Dee Fields from
Hello,
Kentucky.
everyone.
Paula Smith from Tennessee.
Hi, everybody.
And Tanya from Mo's Homesteading. She's from Missouri. How are you ladies doing tonight?
Fantastic.
Great. Very good.
I really want to thank you all
Awesome.
for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. I wanted to give everybody a look at what fishing is from the beginner to the competition or the competitors out there. Most waving over there. Mo will be as good as the rest of them in no time. To not the novice, but the experienced anglers. So again, thank you very much for showing up. I want everybody to know in the chat room today, if you have any questions, post them up there. I will post them up for the ladies to look at, and if they have any, they'll answer them for you. Hopefully, one or multiple of them will be able to do that. So, excellent. Let's see who we have in the house here. We have 24 people watching so far. That'll get a little more. Let's see what we got here. Participants. Let's say hello to Avid Fisherman. What's going on? Norm from Catfish Headhunters. How are you? Finseeker TV. Hello. Fishing with the Chad. That's Mr. D, right? Mr. D's in the house. Hunting and Stuff with J&J. Thank you for checking out. That's a new name. James Dockery Fishing, J-Dog Blackburn, JP3, what's going on? Kentucky Catman Outdoors Adventures, what's going on, Jim? LG Bass, Mr. Morello, how are you doing, sir? Mike Greenwood, Mike Irvin, Mike Toomer, Turner, I'm sorry. MO Creek Fishing, what's going on, my friend? Muskrat Adventures, how are you, Roger? Not a Clue Fishing, 1 Ton Fishing Club, Outside with the Haze, Stan Smith, what's going on, Stan? Stephen Corley, Tim Molina's in the house. I see Buckeye Catfishing just came in too. Don Burns, how are you? Lyle from Catfish Weekly, what's going on, Lyle? I just saw him pop up here. Hooked Catfish, what's going on, Jonathan? How are you, sir? All right, folks. So why don't we start? We'll start with Paula. Paula, how are you?
I am doing fantastic. Don Burns is my first cousin. He lives in Alabama. Hey, Don.
How are you, Don? Paula, since tell you, I guess she says hello. How are you? All right, Paula. So a little bit about yourself. You fish a lot of tournaments, right? You're basically catfishing tournaments.
Yeah, I don't fish as many tournaments as I would like to because this 2020 has been crazy, which we all know that. But I do fish. If I'm not working, sleeping, I'm fishing. So my main goal is always to go out and catch the bigger fish.
That I know. Can you tell us what your PB Blue is?
My personal best blue. I don't want to be known by this catfish.
Okay,
my personal best is 88 pounds. A couple months prior to that, I caught an 82. And my personal best flathead is a 52.
Wow.
That's incredible. Those are awesome fish. I just want everybody to know that they're dealing with somebody who knows what they're doing. Not that they would doubt that in any way, but you know what I'm saying. I'm just trying to let everybody know that you are serious about what you're doing, not to make sure you're known just by that fish. So then again, it is better to be known than forgotten, right?
Yeah,
pretty much. All right, and from Illinois, we have Violet Talley. How are you, Violet?
Hi, how are you?
Fantastic. So tell us a little bit about your tournament fishing.
Well, I'm a bass tournament fisherman. I just started tournaments last year. Officially, I started in a bass club. Actually, I never wanted to do tournaments. I hated the whole thought of it. I didn't want to fish under pressure. I just wanted to go out and shore fish. And then I eventually got a kayak, and then somebody introduced me to a bass club, and they said, we do tournaments here. I said, okay, I'll try it. I'll see how I like it. First tournament, I was addicted. I want to do tournaments the whole time. I think I had 4 tournament series this year alone. And this is only my second year. And we took 6th place overall and 2nd place overall in the team in one division. And it wasn't enough. I kept adding on tournaments. Now I was doing tournaments every weekend and then every Wednesday night. So yeah, I was a little obsessed. So, but I think it's the whole atmosphere. I'm very competitive, and it kind of forces you to think differently when you do a tournament as opposed to fun fishing. So I think your skill level really gets bumped up when you're put under that pressure and you have to think fast, as opposed to just kind of fishing on your own time. So, but yeah, I've done some tournament fishing this year. I'm hoping to do some more tournaments next year, maybe some bigger tournaments, and just kind of feel the way, see how it goes. I mean, I'm not looking to be some big FLW champion or anything like that, but if it happens to the opportunity presents itself, I'm going to take it. But as far as I just like fishing, the whole community, and kind of like what it's all about. Just being involved in the fishing community altogether, whether it's tournaments or not, whether it's winning first or not, it doesn't matter to me as much, because I just want to be in the company of people who have the same mindset. And it's been a blessing all the way through.
Definitely understandable. That's pretty much the only reason why I started one of a couple of minor other reasons, but one of the reasons I started doing this in my YouTube channel is so I can, get in front of and have exposure to like-minded people in this sport and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I'm really grateful I am. I mean, look at the level of anglers I have on my show tonight. I'm pretty happy about that. Mm-hmm. All right, Dee, how are you, Dee?
I'm doing good.
Dee just comes off from her and Chad running the couples tournament online. How did you finish in that tournament, Dee?
We came in 4th, tied with K&B Anglers.
Mm-hmm. And the winner of that had 23 catfish, correct, Mr. Creole?
Yes, he did.
So you guys did.
I would love to have a day like that.
You guys did very well. That was really fun. I had the opportunity to host for co-host for one of the days, and I watched all 4 days. It was actually real neat. And I know a lot of people are saying that tournaments are going to go this way online and such, and I think it's a good thing, especially in this day and age. Okay, and tell us a little bit about you, Dee.
Well, I am actually not quite as new at fishing as Mo, but growing up, my stepdad took us fishing, but he did not make it enjoyable. So I didn't fish for years, even after Chad and I were together. But in the last year and a half, I realized I don't have any hobbies. The only thing I do is work. And I was like, I need a hobby. Chad enjoys this. Let me go see what it's about. I'll tell you what, it took me to my first tournament, caught a big fish, and on the couples tournament, I took my first hook out of a fish, So it's been a really fun thing that we can enjoy together.
I have to say, you're a natural out there. You do fantastic. I really mean it. It's always fun to watch you guys fish. And I always look forward to seeing you. Chad's a little bit, but
yeah,
I like watching Dee fish.
But I got to bring him around. No.
All right, Betty Jean, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, Betty. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your fishing experience, what you love about the sport.
All right. Well, I'm from Ohio. I am a nurse, and I would much rather just fish all the time, but it is what it is. Really new. I fished when I was kids, and fishing and stuff like that. Just got into catfishing a little over a year ago. Hooked, love it. But I love all fishing, really. I mean, I craw fish with my mom a lot, and catfish with my husband. So. Yeah,
very nice. We can hear you, Betty, but we're still having a little hard time hearing you. I don't know what's going on. I'd hate for people not to hear what you're saying. That's the only reason why I bring it up. So
I don't know why you can't hear me.
Oh, it just
I
even
know
up
Betty
close.
talks louder than that.
Yeah, I
I
bet.
know, that's weird. I
Very
don't know how to fix it.
Very strange. We've got Tanya from Mo's Homesteading. How are you, Tanya?
I'm fabulous. How are you?
Good. And you, I know you showed a lot of interest in wanting to get involved in fishing and stuff, so I figured you'd be great to have on the show as well. I see you in a lot of the live streams and such. What is it about fishing that's drawing you to this crowd and the sport of fishing?
I think it's more, I'm trying to learn new things. And so I set up all these new things to learn every year. Like this year, I raised meat chickens and, then we started trying to find other things in our environment now. What could we do? Well, we're not hunters really. We haven't thought about learning to do that yet. And my husband's uncle gave us some fishing rods when we moved here. And that was 5 years ago. So we met some friends that are some homesteaders that live outside of town, and they do hunting and fishing and all of these things. And they were getting married, right? I know this is the longest story ever, but they were getting married. And she decided to sell her boat, and they kept his. They both were fishermen, and so they said, "Do you guys want a boat?" We're like, "Well, guess we're learning to fish now." So I'm like, "Okay, I better figure out." And since then, it's kind of progressed on to, I need to learn how to do this the right way, and we want to, be self-sufficient from the homesteading standpoint. So I think it's more that than the tournaments, although Violet's got me all excited about learning how to do tournaments because that sounds fun, so I guess we'll see.
Fantastic. All right, we got a question already from Roger over at Muscat Adventures. He says, what is the one thing the men of catfishing can do to make their trips more enjoyable? I imagine that's for you ladies. How about get out of the way? That would be my...
That was what I was going to say.
You guys can go ahead and answer that on your own.
I'll be honest, I don't know yet. I was so excited the first time we went out on the boat, and I've only been out there once, so yeah. It's all going to be fun for me.
Loosen up. That'd be my advice. Loosen up.
Mm-hmm.
Why, are you finding the men being uptight when they go fishing with you?
Well, not necessarily with me, but you see them out there like on tournament day. It's just like, we're over here fishing, And besides, I'm mad at Muskrat because I seen where he went to Alabama and he's been just complaining about not being able to come to Tennessee. So I don't want to hear no more excuses from him.
Uh-oh, Muskrat's been called out.
Roger's in trouble.
Jim Catman said, I heard Violet can speak Polish.
Yes, I'm fluent in Polish. I mean, I'm a little rusty, but yes, I'm fluent in Polish. My parents still speak Polish. They live in Chicago, and I grew up speaking Polish. But yeah, absolutely.
I speak Polish too, Jim, just so you know.
Yeah.
Maybe not as well as Violet, but...
Yeah, you have to learn how to pronounce your last name, and then that's impressive.
Okay, hold on this. You ready? I made this up just for people who ask how to say my last name. Does that make sense to anybody?
Shibish.
Perfect. There we go.
Yeah, that's what I would have said.
All right. Let's see if we have any other questions. So what kind of topics do you ladies want to bring up? What's important to you? Let's start with Paula.
Why you always want to start with me? What is important to me?
Sorry, Paula.
Pick on Paula. I tell you what's important to me is for women to be recognized for their ability, for their skill. I feel like women, a lot of women do get recognized, but we don't get the recognition that we deserve, And I understand it's a man's world. I mean, it always has been. But as for me, I can hang with the best of them, you know, and a lot of these women can also. And I feel like that we should get just as much exposure, or I just feel like that women deserve more credit than they get for their fishing abilities.
I agree 100%. I was always a fan of this. I don't care what age, gender, sex, whatever you are. Fishing is fishing. I mean, anybody can turn a handle on a reel and cast a line. So I don't see why anybody would hold any of those things against anybody. So it really makes no sense to me, which is another one of the reasons I wanted to make sure we did this. And it's competition too. People are going to use whatever they can to get into your head and into your mind too, unfortunately. But that's okay. I know a lot of people that can handle it just well. Let's see.
Can I say something to that? So my husband just walked by, and he said, "Amen to that." You know, basically, he was like that. He didn't like it in the surfing competitions in the surfing world and stuff like that. That the women were just as strong as some of the male surfers, and didn't get the recognition that they should have got there. So when he walked by, he heard you talking and went, "Yeah, and
It's kind
everything."
of like
So
we're pushed to the back.
yeah. Sorry, guys.
And like for instance, I'm sure each and every one of you, if you can't, you will learn how to operate a boat, be able to go fishing by yourself without a man. Learn to do it all by yourself as a woman, because we can do it, each and every one of us. And
by the way,
and
that's Trapping Rhoda right there. Just have to say,
I'm no goose in the courtyard, but I'm not stopping until I get the state record. You set your goal and you go after it. And if you don't, if I leave this world and I don't have the state record, I still won by going after it.
I hear you. I can appreciate that 100%. One Ton Fishing says, who was the biggest influence to get y'all into fishing? How about you? I can barely hear you. Betty, I'm sorry.
Really low.
I'm going to leave and come back.
Okay, maybe that'll work. I'll bring you right back in.
All right.
When I started fishing, there wasn't a lot of women fishing. So Steve Douglas was one of my, that's who I started watching. And of course, he's one of my sponsors. And that's really what got me. Palomino Cats got me big time. They asked me that question. And I was like, uh-oh. But there wasn't that many women fishing. And so I was watching Steve Douglas, and that's really what encouraged me. And of course, I've been fishing since I was a tiny kid on the Buffalo River. That was our, everything to do, fishing and creek fishing, pond fishing, and country life.
The good life. How about you, Violet? Who is your biggest influence in your life? You had mentioned your husband doesn't fish, so it had to come from somewhere, right? Not that it relies on your husband, but it's hard to do.
Well, I started fishing when I was about 3 years old. My parents, being from Poland, they were traditional carp fishermen. So we would just or fish for anything that bites. And it was mostly carp. And I actually have a photo of my first fish as a 3-year-old holding that fish. And they said that ever since then, I've just been absolutely just addicted to fishing. And my dad is really the one who actually started all that. He had a tiny little Lund boat with a little Mercury tiller motor, and he would take us out, especially in the summer, every weekend, and just fun fish, and he never went past the worm and bobber. He never threw lures. He never threw anything artificial. It was always live bait, worm and bobber. And I got to tell you, to this day, because of that influence, I still get excited seeing that bobber go down. I'll stare at it for 15 minutes straight. And it's, even though I'm a big bass tournament fisherman and there's all kinds of strategy and things involved, that little red and white bobber still gets me just as excited to this day. And so I would say my dad was my biggest influence. But after about the age of 12 or 13, when I kind of got into high school, he sold the boat and kind of it all went away. And he just once in a while. So I really took it up on my own with, with YouTube and the internet and just watching everybody fish around me. I kind of had to take the reins on my own and figure things out. But my dad was really my biggest influence.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a similarity in between the sexes. Is there comes that point in life where you step up and you kind of take it for your own.
Yeah.
And my story is like identical to Violet's, being brought up in a Polish family. It was like an event. It was like a day vacation, go out to the lake with the whole family and stuff. So definitely can relate with that. How about you, Betty? Let's see if we got sound from you. Can we hear you?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's a little better.
A little bit? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll try to stay close so you can hear me. Brandon, my husband. So I fished when I was a kid some, but as far as really getting into it to really learn, and we're doing it together. Neither one of us are professionals, but he's my fishing buddy.
That's fantastic. Let's see what we got here. Dee, you had mentioned that you did start earlier on in life with your stepfather, right? It just moved into being with Chad.
Right.
So let's see.
Yeah, actually, too, Chad and I have been together for years, but it was kind of when he would go fishing, I was like, ooh, he's going fishing. I can do whatever I want now. But going out with him now, and actually when he introduced me to this catfish community, and seeing Betty and Paula and all the other women, saying, "Oh, I caught this," or "I got this," adding you guys on Facebook and seeing these pictures, I'm like, yeah, I can do this. When Mark first asked me to be on the show, I kind of thought, I feel like a fraud. I'm not really a fisherman. And Chad was like, you need to give yourself more credit. So I'm really glad to be a part of this.
Well, I didn't ask you because I didn't think so. I absolutely asked you because I thought so. So, and I actually, I've seen even Mo's channel. I've checked out Mo's channel, and she pretty much sets out to do what she wants to do. So I had full, not just hopes, but I believe that she's going to take away from this, and hopefully we'll get somebody else into the community. So we're looking forward to that. So anybody got any stories they want to share? Good, bad, ugly, in their exchanges while they're out fishing, whether it's with a spouse or other people out there fishing alongside you across the lake or whatever. How do you deal with I guess my question is, how do you deal with the heat? I know there's probably a lot that's applied to you. At least that's what I'm starting to gather from taking a little deeper look into how the ladies have to deal with things in fishing. Is there anything you want to bring up?
Did you say how you deal with the heat?
Well, not just the heat as in the temperature, but the heat. The heat.
I'm like, what?
Let's see if I can phrase that a little better. I know you. Do you think you guys put a? Never mind. I lost my train of thought. Sorry about that. I know I was going somewhere and I went there.
Okay, I think I have an idea what you mean there, Mark. So the second tournament that we fished in, a little girl, maybe 8 years old or so, caught, a nice sized fish. And actually, it was the first tournament, sorry. And it was the first time I had ever held my catfish up to get a picture taken. To see the different looks on all the guys' faces from, oh, this cute little girl caught this huge fish, and what the heck are you doing, woman? I was kind of like, I'm doing the best I can. I didn't get this at her age, so same age in this, you just don't realize it.
Yeah, that's exactly kind of what I meant.
That, they don't need to know my story. Yeah, I'm gonna take away from it what I need to take away, and it is a positive. That little girl, I'm happy for her, you know?
Well, and she got that from you. And that's part of maybe what this is going to turn into being is some of the people watching this particular one are going to go, you know, if I see a little girl catching fish, I'm going to say good job, you know, because that makes me
Yeah.
remember I caught a 5 when I was like 7. I caught like a 5-pound catfish or bass or something was 5 pounds. I remember that on a Snoopy pole. And I thought all my uncle and my grandpa and everybody was just going to fall over. She caught that on a Snoopy pole. You know, like they were just, and I wouldn't even have thought of it as they just were amazed, you know, that I caught this on a Snoopy pole. So maybe that, you know, kind of transfers over. So we just need to tell everybody good job. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, my dad was the first person that I fished with. I don't know if any of y'all are in the barnyard as the goose like me, but my first fishing pole was a cane pole. You know, I went from that to, you know, I fished all my life. My brothers, and of course, they're passed away now, and my father also. And I just strive to, and I know they're right here beside me, but I strive to uh, still make my father proud, if that makes any sense to anybody. And I hope that the people that are watching, especially little girls, um, we can do this. We can be just as good, if not better, than most male anglers. You know, we're all equal. You know, I didn't burn my bra. I still got it. You know, I mean, I'm a female. I understand that, but we as fishermen are all equal, and we should be treated equal for our skills.
And use
So
that.
do they have separate tournaments for women and men, or is it all one big tournament?
You know, I do tournaments, and you know, I can't tell you how many times I've been told, well, wouldn't you want to start a female bass circuit? I said, absolutely not. Why do we need an all-female bass circuit? Why can't we compete with the men equally? I mean, there's nothing different between us to the fish. So why do we need a separate circuit? Now I can understand some females might feel intimidated. They may not want to fish with men just because they might feel, you know, self-conscious, or where do I go to the bathroom? You know, so many different questions. I can understand that, but there's little things that you could do, you know, in the guy's world, that's just little things to change, that you can compete with them, you know, just like anybody else. And so having a different circuit, I think, is unnecessary. I think if we want to fish, we need to be able to fish in any world, whether it's all men, all female, or both. And it all comes on skill level. I mean, you know, one of the things I deal with hardships is, and it's something I never thought I would deal with, is I technically have sponsors. I mean, we can call it what is there, it's a pro staff, but I do have a lot of sponsors and some of our bigger names. I just acquired Mercury, and I deal with Daiwa, and, you know, and I get guys that they don't say it to my face, but I hear it, you know, in the background. She only got it because she's a girl. She got it because
Bingo.
she got it because she looks nice in the shirt. She got, you know, and I didn't know a lot of guys on the bass circuit say, you know what, I've seen her work her freaking butt off. She deserves it. You know, or some guy, you know, so yeah, it's a different market. Some sponsors may want to get into the female market. They're looking for females, but I got to tell you, just because I'm a female doesn't mean I don't have to work as hard. I have to work harder, because I have to prove myself to these guys, because they'll, even if I win a bunch of tournaments, they'll say, well, that's nice. Maybe she got lucky. Or, you know what, she does work her butt off, but I'd rather put this guy on my boat than her, because, you know, they feel more comfortable. You know, whatever the excuse is, there's still going to be that male-female barrier. So we have to kind of step up and work a little harder to keep what we have, and maybe some more of the guys, and maybe over time things may change. But is it a big issue? Not necessarily. As long as you have the work ethic and you bring a lot to the table, those guys will respect you. They will over time.
Yeah, most of them will.
Yeah, the right guys will.
I was about to say probably most of them.
Yeah.
And use that to drive you. I mean, that negative energy drives me. It makes me want it makes me want it so much more. It pushes me. So, I mean, in all honesty, as bad as it is, it's kind of a good thing too, because it really pushes me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
It makes me want to do better. It just makes me want to be like, I'll show you.
Exactly. Just like Violet was saying, just because she's a girl and she gets out there, oh, she's a girl. Well, don't underestimate her because, or any woman angler, because, we can do what these guys are doing. We're already doing it. We don't have to expose ourselves. We can throw our hat on. As long as we know what we're doing, get out there and do it. Because we are teaching or showing the younger generation that women can do exactly what men. I mean, there's some things we can't do. But as far as fishing goes, I read my own sonar. I go without my husband a lot of times. I know how to find them. I know where to look for them. I know what bait I want. I know how to operate the boat. And all women need to do this. Because I feel like that one of these days we're going to be the top names of fishing. Or I hope we are.
I'm smiling because this is exactly why I had you ladies on here. Love hearing it. I got some comments here. We have a question from Stan. Do y'all think the overall opinion about women and fishing is changing?
I think it's getting a lot better. Yeah.
You do?
Slowly but surely.
Yeah, it's slow. I think it's slow. I mean, being in the bass tournament world, a lot of times, actually, almost all the tournaments I'm in, I'm the only female. And does that intimidate? No. Do I notice? I notice just because I kind of give myself a little, oh, I'm the only girl here. I can fish with these guys. But they don't look at that. In the beginning, when I first started the tournament fishing, I remember you'd have that dock talk, the dock talk in the morning. Everybody be talking to everybody and nobody be talking to me because I think they were afraid of how to talk to me. And I think one of the guys swore. They said it was swear when he goes, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I go, and then my tournament partner who knew me immediately stepped in and said, oh no, you should hear her on the water when she loses a fish, she's got a mouth like a trucker. So you can swear all you want. It's fine. And then, they loosen up over time. So I think it's about getting out there. We have to get out there and kind of make ourselves known and kind of kind of get the attention through our work, through our skill, through how we present ourselves I always want to be more classy. I still want to, represent female, I still get my nails done. But I don't mind getting them dirty, and I'm gonna be the first one to drag that fish out of the water and tell the guy to step aside if he can't do it. And I'll be the first one on the trolling motor. If he says, I can't do it, I said, I got you. I'll do it. I got your back. But, it's going to take some time. And it is changing. It's changed over the year, but they have to get to know us and know what we're capable of because I think a lot of, especially the good guys, they don't know how to treat us. They don't want to offend us, but they also want to give us our time, our spot, our way. They don't want to be in our way. They want to give, they don't know what to do. They're kind of like back and forth. So we have to kind of make them more comfortable by saying, hey, this is what we can do. And if you have any questions, open up the conversation, then, and they'll eventually come around. And then next thing you know, then you're like just one of the guys, and which is really the goal. My overall goal really is to have the guys say, you know what, I want her in my boat over any one of you because of what she can do and you guys can't. That's my goal. I don't care about winning the tournaments. I care that guy says, I'd take her in my boat over anybody else because of what she can do. That's the biggest thing.
Right. When I fish tournaments, it has absolutely nothing to do with the money. It's the mere fact that I'm out there to catch the next biggest fish, and whether it's 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 100 pounds, preferably 100, but that's the fun of tournaments for me. It's not about the money. It's about the sport. It's about the sport.
All right, real quick.
Okay, somebody say something.
Something like how, and I'm probably guilty of it as well when I'm around a lady when we're fishing or whatever. My mother beat it into me to be polite and a gentleman and open doors and stuff. do I stop doing that when we're fishing, or should I keep doing it?
Don't stop.
Yeah, don't stop, but you'll get to know your partner to the point where, I still have some of my tournament partners will still, they'll grab something for me, or if we're grabbing the fish out of the live well, it's a big bag of water. They'll say, here, I'll hand it to you, and then I'll grab it and walk down. Unless you want to do it, they said, go ahead, you take it. But it's still a fine line, because like I was saying before, the guys don't know what to do. They should I be the gentleman? Should I let her do it? Do I say something? Do I not say something? So I think you just have to get to know the person you're fishing with. That's the hard part.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a balancing act that I'm trying to get even online.
Still be a gentleman.
Right.
Still be a gentleman. I mean, we all were raised with morals. Be a gentleman, but like Violet said, when I get out there on the water, I cuss like a sailor. It's every one of us, right? I mean, it's just. I'm going to assume that each one of us were somewhat raised as a tomboy, or, around brothers or whatnot. And, I cuss like a sailor if it don't, if it don't happen, or, King gets in my way, I'll either trip him or cuss him, whatever comes first. It's hard being married to a game warden.
Well, and then, and it's good that, you still want to be a gentleman and everything. But if, you're saying, here, let me take that. And I'm going, no, I got it. Don't keep being the gentleman and saying, no, let me take it for you. If I say I got it, I got it.
Yeah, I'm guilty, not out of disrespect, but just out of trying to be kind and helpful. So you got to cut us some slack too when it comes to stuff like that and know where it's coming from. At least once you know the person. I know there's a lot of people who'll be like, oh, well, the little lady can't handle this and the little lady can't do that. I know a lot of guys.
You'll be surprised.
I know, but I also know men who aren't like that, who are trying to be supportive and trying to play that quote unquote masculine role that they were brought up to play. So I guess it's give and take.
Violet, hi, I keep nails too. There we go. There we go. And like, I know Betty Jean catfishes and Dee catfishes. Do y'all love, I mean, most of us, I know Betty Jean's a nurse. When a catfish breaks your skin, they can give you, an infection. But I love them battle scars. I don't want to put gloves on anymore. I love them battle scars. I mean, yeah. Yeah. Do you know you can take the slime off the catfish and put it on that and it'll heal it?
I've heard that. I've never tried it. I just battle scars are great, but battle scars for me are for when I'm retired, because I don't want to risk getting anything with what I do.
Right. And see, I'm not nursing right now on account of my mother and my grandbaby. So bring on the battle scars.
There you go. Yeah. I mean, like, I'm not scared of it or anything like that, but I am scared of diseases. So I don't want to.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't either.
Yeah.
Air Run says to rub it on its belly. I've heard that too. I didn't know whether to believe it or not. So I'll have to try it the next time, because I get cut up pretty bad. So
a catfish is like a tongue on the outside. The whole catfish is like one big tongue with all the little sensors and stuff. It's amazing. If you research it and study it, just like the book I sent you the name, Betty Jean.
Yes.
Get that book. It's kind of expensive, but I mean, it is awesome. You will learn so much.
I'm anxious to read it. I'm gonna get.
Yeah, it's thick, but it's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to say, there's a lot of really good comments in the chat that have been going by. We see those guys. We're seeing them. It's just we're all talking and we can't address each one. But a lot of people have said some really good things. about our conversation that we're having up here.
Good.
Well, that's great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
I'm trying to catch them for you ladies as they come by.
Yeah.
I'm ready to learn.
Yeah, that's a
I'm ready to
really
learn how to
great
do it
thing
the right
about
way.
this community. They are backing us.
Mhm. I think so. I'm ready to learn all your tricks. Everybody's tricks need to tell me because we're having separate tackle boxes. And so it's on. And all I have, I keep telling everybody this, and you guys think I'm kidding, but I'm not. So we know we're gonna fish for bass and catfish first, and all I have right now is bass stuff because I bought these 2 little lures for bass, these 2 little bitty things, and then I had a friend give me. This is all I have. You think I'm kidding? And then I had a friend send me like 4 of these little froggy things. So I have 4 of those. I have 4 of those and 2 of those, and that's it so far.
Girl, you gotta
I'm going to give
start
you a secret
somewhere,
there.
though.
Well, I'm going to give you a secret. You want to know what the secret to bass fishing is?
Yes.
I'm sorry, Betty. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. I said you have to start somewhere, though. I mean, you don't just come out with every, piece of equipment that you need, and you don't come out slaying these massive fish all of a sudden. I mean, it just doesn't work that way. You have to start out, and it's not
Just throwing it in the water, right?
You run into all kinds of issues, but you learn from every single one. Don't stop. Keep going.
Yeah.
That's one thing my husband told me. You've always got to be teachable. If somebody suggests something, whether you like it or not, listen to it. Vice versa, use it if you can use it. And if not, then, appreciate the fact that they wanted to teach you something, because as long as I've been doing it, I'm always teachable. If it's going to help my game, I'm teachable. I'm willing to learn.
And Violet, what were you going to say?
I would say that really the trick to bass fishing, if you really want to know, there are no tricks. It's the one that's going to be the one that outlast everybody else, because I'm going to tell you right now, when it's 30 degrees out and those fish aren't biting, it's the one who's going to cover the most water and cast the most. It doesn't matter what really not a lot of times, as long as you're within a small ballpark of what the baits are, which is basically anything that moves in the water. Sometimes if you go to a tournament and you ask everybody, what did they use? Every single one will give you a different answer, because they used something they were just confident in. They just cast the hell out of it. And they cast in the right spots, and they just happen to get some good fish. Not saying that bass fishing doesn't require skill. It absolutely does. You have knowledge about a lot of things and be able to have some common knowledge. But when it comes down to it, you just got to work your butt off. You got to get to the water. You have to fish, and you have to fish, and you have to fish. And the more you fish, the better you become. And it's little by little. I mean, I can hand you the magic bait, the one that I'm catching everything on right now and right next to you, and you won't catch a darn thing. Because you haven't had water.
And Betty was telling me, Betty. Yeah. Betty told me in a chat one time, she was like, it depends on where you live. It depends on what state you're in, on what lakes there are, and stuff like that. So I just, was trying to get basic stuff and get that going, and then I'm just going to practice. So I have a question for you guys. So if I'm practicing, what do you just put a weight on the end of your fishing pole, like to practice in the backyard to try to hit certain spots, or is that what you would do? Yeah,
that'd be a good way to practice casting if you're catfishing.
Right.
Just get out there and try it. Get out there and try it till you figure out what works for you.
Right. Okay. Find a local spot. Like I have a local pond in my subdivision area that it actually you almost can't get snagged on anything. It's just a bowl. There's nothing down there to get snagged. Wow. There's things there, but it's a great place just to sit and cast. Nobody's there. Just a small little place. Get you to cast, learn how the lures affect, how they're affected in the water and how they affect the fish.
Exactly.
Just find one spot that you could just go to at any time of the day. You're not going to be bothered, and just play and do. And one thing I want you to do. That guys especially in bass fishing, there are rules. There are unspoken rules. There are rules. I don't throw this bait on this day because this is happening because the wind's the right direction. Every guide says, oh yeah, we all do that. I'm the first one to say, you know what? I'm going to do the opposite because it doesn't make sense to me. You got to look outside the box. Yeah, there are certain things you want to go by. There's certain no-nos that you don't want to do something a certain way because it just doesn't make sense. But don't be afraid to think outside the box, even though you're taught differently. So, even though, like most guys will say, you can't throw this in this type of condition. Well, that's fine, but try it for yourself and see if you get a different result. Because you may take that knowledge, put it in your back pocket, and say, I'm going to come back to that later. Because I can't tell you how many times the guys are like, well, we're only going to throw this, and they throw it all day and they don't catch anything. Oh, the fish aren't biting. I'll throw something completely out of the ordinary because it makes sense, not just because it's picked out of the tackle box. I actually have a reason for it, and I'll catch them. And they'll look at me and say, "Oh, that's nonsense. You didn't use that." Yeah, I did, but that's okay because that's not my part. I thought outside the box. You have to be able to be teachable, but also kind of make your own path. You have to be able to think outside the box.
And when you get the mechanics down of it, the casting and different things like that, you're going to start catching fish. And as you start catching fish, you're going to learn what you're doing that's working for you and what's not working for you. Right. So, I mean, it's just a process. It's kind of like trial and error. Try it. If it works, okay. If it don't, okay. And then what didn't work for you yesterday might work tomorrow.
Agree.
You just never know. It's
okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do it and get it on film, and then you're going to tell me what I did wrong, Betty. You're like, Tanya, don't do that.
I think this is like
success comes from time on the water.
Mm-hmm.
That's where
you got to put your time in.
You have to put your time in.
Right.
And I can't tell you how. That's just like, okay, so I've fished lakes forever. And I've just recently started fishing the river. I've fished the river now for a few months. And I have caught only maybe 2 or 3 fish. But I'm putting my time in and I'm learning every single time that I go. And the river is a completely different body of water than a lake. I have current, I have all kinds of different things that are being thrown at me that I'm not used to. And no, I'm not going to go out like I went out one night on the lake, caught 17 fish. I go out on the river and maybe catch 1. But I have a heck of a lot more time on the lake. I know the lake. I know where the structure is. I know where the fish are. And a lot of times that stuff doesn't change too much in a lake. It does, but not like it does on the river. So you just have to put your time in.
Okay.
You have to factor in the bite. Like summertime is one of the hardest bites you have. You do mostly drifting, dragging, bumping. Now we're going into fall where the water temperatures are dropping and these fish are starting to move because they're hungry. They're trying to fatten up for winter. And when it gets colder, we anchor more. From now till probably June, I will be on the river more than I will be home because that's, to me, the best bite. They scatter in the summertime and they stack up in the wintertime.
When you say anchor more, you mean anchor the boat more? What do you mean anchor?
I just throw the anchor out. I look on my sonar, the down scan, side scan. I find what I'm looking for. I'll move up about 50 feet and I'll anchor down and I'll, let my rope out as far as I want it to be. And then I cast out. Now that's a wintertime mostly thing.
Right.
I fish the Duck River in the state of Tennessee, which is the only continuous flowing river in the state of Tennessee. And it's just like right now, it's hot for, the winter bite. Now, when we pull out onto the Tennessee, Kentucky Lake, you got your main channel and then you got your, your lake part that was flooded. And in the summertime, they're scattered. It's hard to find them. But as long as you find cover, structure, mouths of creeks, ledges, the right kind of bait, like where Betty Jean fishes, she may be close to where a dam is and skipjack are running really really hard. In my area, we have skipjack, but not as prevalent. So their go-to bait in the wintertime is gizzard shad. In the summertime, believe it or not, is Asian carp, in the heat of the summer. So, you got to find what bait they're after, give them a variety, whichever one's hitting the most, then that's their go-to bait.
Okay.
And you're going to learn their habits because fish have different habits depending on seasons and different things like that. I mean, like Paula said, in the winter they stack up, they're scattered in the summer. They like different things at different times of year. And I mean, think about it. You can spend one whole year fishing and figure out a few things for each season about the fish's habits, about what's working for you. And it's a very minute part of learning the whole process. It takes
Overall, I mean, just learning what things are, like and I won't ever call them what they're supposed to be called, but the things, the little clips to take one lure off and put one on. I don't even know what that's called, but I bought some, and I thought, well, how many of those are you going to have? How many times are you going to change that out? But we still bought some, and I'm sure that, over time I'll learn all of that. I just need to get the vocabulary. It's just like homesteading. When I started doing this, I didn't know what a T-post was when I first moved here. Honest to God, T-post. Did not know what a T-post was, and to not know that is craziness. People just need to learn more. But there's a lot of things that
pay attention to what other people are doing, because a lot of times other people fish that area and you'll see what they're using, how they're using it. Listen to the conversations that go on. I have learned so much by listening to people while I'm on the bank, or listening to people out in the boat, or watching what they're doing, how they're doing it. You just got to kind of take it all in and try it. I mean, you never know until you try.
Yeah, you have to immerse yourself in it, because you're not going to memorize everything. I mean, I was the same thing. I would have a plastic, and there's a million different plastics in the bass fishing world. And the guy, in the boat would be like, well, I'm using one of these things. And I'm like, and I'm kind of afraid to ask him what that is. And he's like, you know what that is? Everybody uses that. I'm like, I have no clue what that is. And half my plastics are in a box. I took them out of the plastic, the bag. So I can't even tell you what half those plastics are. That's why I keep them all in the plastics in their bags. But it's immersion. So the more you're around it, the more you're just going to pick it up. Because if you have a passion for it, next thing you know, I mean, you'll rattle things off. I was asked to do a seminar on bass fishing. I was absolutely frantic. I had no idea. Like, what am I going to talk about? I got nothing to talk about. I'm a beginner. I don't know what I'm doing. Next thing you know, my seminar went from 45 minutes to an hour and a half, because it just flowed. And it's like a passion. And so,
never
afraid. I immerse myself in it. So you have to be around it. It's like, time on the water, get around people. Like, Betty Jean said, you need to be listening to people and watch people, because all that exposure, next thing you know, you're going to rattle things up and go, wow, I didn't know I knew all that.
And that's why I listen and watch all you guys now. It's because it's like, that's what I did with homesteading stuff. Well, now I look at each thing and I try to study as much as I can and learn as much as I can, so that it is in my psyche of, okay, this is how I do gardening. Well, this is how I do catfishing. Well, this is how I do bass fishing. So it's all a challenge to try to get all of that knowledge, I guess. I've always been that way. I'm not afraid of anything, Muskrat. Do not worry.
Don't be afraid.
One of the
Coyotes.
They said, don't be afraid to fail, because I got to tell you, in tournaments, the same person never wins twice. Hardly ever. If you're winning twice, you're winning the lottery. I mean, the guy who's in the top 3 next week could be in the bottom 50. And it's like that all the time. Even the best. You look at bass. I mean, I can only speak for bass tournaments, but if you look at the pros online right now, they're in Lake Chickamauga right now. Some of these guys, they did fantastic at some tournaments. Some of them didn't even qualify the first day. And it's these great guys. You thought, oh, wow, this guy, I thought he won everything. No, not necessarily. It's just, it's not the conditions. Maybe it's not the type of fishing that he's used to. It doesn't matter. Everybody's going to fail, and everybody's going to win at some point. So don't be afraid to try anything.
Exactly.
one of the things I really like about fishing is taking somebody new out fishing. I don't care who they are. And one of the things that the first thing I tell them is fishing's all about being confident. And the best way to get confident, pardon the expression, is, lather, rinse, repeat. Keep doing what works and do it over and over again until you're confident with doing it. That goes back to when Mo was talking about just casting. There's nothing that gives you more confidence than looking somewhere, wanting to get a bait in that spot, whether it's artificial, live bait, whatever you're fishing for. And when you can start doing that a little more confidently, you're going to grow. And it's simple things like that. It's just use those building blocks and keep repeating them until they come natural to you. And before you know it, you're going to be like, you'll be kicking all sorts of guy ass all over the place.
Husband's the only one I'm worried about.
Just like Mama said, some of the top anglers may come in first place this week. Next week, they might not even hit the top 50. I'm not going to say it's a luck thing. I'm just going to say you've got to learn not to spot fish. Go back to the same spot, because them fish are not going to be there. You got to learn to fish different types of water. My next trip is going to be to the Mississippi, and I'm so excited. It's just unreal. Now, Violet, my husband is a big bass fisherman. I don't go with him. I like that feel of that, whatever's on the end of that line trying to jerk me out of that boat. That's the feeling.
I want to be able to have a picture at some point, like all of you four had in the thing, because I had nothing. So I just sent my homesteading picture, and I'm over here in the corner because I got no fish. I got no picture with a fish. So a piece of art fish, there's a fish up there. That's all I got.
You will. You will.
You'll get one. You'll get one.
And I'm going to send it all to you guys when I first get that big one. I'm going to be like, look.
Yes.
Yeah, you get it.
Look, Paula. Okay, Paula has an 88-pound PB blue. Okay, Paula's been fishing a heck of a lot longer than I have. My PB before last week was 15 pounds. That's not much to a lot of people, but it's still my PB. So I went to Alabama, and what I do, I caught a 27.5-pound blue cat. That's my new PB. That's not big to a lot of people, but that's huge to me. You might catch a 5-pound fish tomorrow, and it's your PB. It's yours, girl. Yours.
And be proud of it.
And you be proud of it.
That's right.
That's right. And I can go out tomorrow and I can catch a 20-pounder, and I'm just as excited with that 20-pounder as I am my 80-something. It's all about the passion and love of the sport.
And that's
I gotta
true.
tell you-
And if you watch Paula's videos, you see that. I seen her catch the 88, and she just posted a video yesterday or something of like a 38, and she was jumping up and down just as much as she was with that 88. It's not always about numbers, but when you have your PB and you have what's making you happy and you're one-upping yourself each time, it doesn't matter about the numbers. It's all about you.
Right.
And for us too, it's also, I know we'll catch and release, but for us too, it's also another self-sufficiency thing.
Right.
For us, like to have fish, to catch our own fish.
I keep some small catfish. I fish for crappie. there's fish in my freezer. So the biggest thing is I don't keep big fish. I want our reproducers out there to stay. So because I want to keep fishing, and I want our kids to keep fishing, and I want our grandkids to keep fishing. So the conservation is very important, but it's not wrong to keep small fish.
Yeah.
No, and my husband and I are doing proposals right now for the state of Tennessee because we want changes in the regulations, and we're big on conservation, and I'm big on contamination. So any fish 10 pounds and under, 6 is ideal, is great to eat. Don't eat the fatty part of the fish. That's where you get your contamination. So just, I'm like Betty Jean said. I don't like pay lakes. If they're farm raised, that's fine. But if you, and I've got one just started up in the county over from me. And if you're going out and taking fish out of their natural habitat, wild fish, and throwing them into a pond, they call it a lake, it's a pond, they're not used to that. They're going to die. I pray to God that my 88 pounder is still swimming out there somewhere, but more than likely he may be in a pay lake. His genes are important to the future of our fisheries, and that's why we like to catch and release.
You were going to try and say something, Violet? I saw you try to chime in, or do you have to get out of here?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Oh, okay. Violet's got tournaments tomorrow and Sunday. She's a busy lady this weekend.
Good
So
luck.
Woohoo! Good luck, Violet.
Yeah,
Good luck.
30-mile-per-hour winds, and then I think it's 28 degrees for a low. I'm going to be out there at 7 a.m. I'm in my boat. So this weekend, so I have a back boat.
One of y'all watch the weather report, and if they say winds are going to be 5 to 10, do y'all double that?
Pretty much.
That's something Ken taught me, that if they're saying 5 to 10, it's going to be 10 to 20.
Yeah. Depends on where you're at. I mean, the lake that I'm going to, it's if they say 5-mile-per-hour winds, it's more like 15. I think, Mark, you probably understand Lake Geneva.
Yeah.
And it's and when they say it's going to be 30 tomorrow, oh boy, I better be on the non-wind side. Although the problem with that lake is the fish they bite on the wind-blown shoreline.
Yep.
So I'm going to be on that trolling motor quite a bit tomorrow and keeping my balance.
And bundle up.
Yeah.
Get the ice gear out.
I know.
Ice
Sorry
bibs.
out.
I made my husband, he does a radio show every Friday night, and I said, carry one of them propane tanks with you because I want it filled up because I'm going fishing tomorrow and I want some heat.
Now, why? So QC Sapper said twice caught fish ain't no good. Why would he say that, or she?
Do what
Twice
now?
caught fish. He said twice caught fish ain't no good. Does it make them? I don't understand what that means.
I don't know what it means either.
Twice caught.
Mm-hmm. Like if it's been caught twice, it isn't any good. Like to eat?
I wouldn't know. I mean, I guess if you release it and then turn around and rehook it within 5 seconds, that would be a bummer. But
Okay, now I don't know what that means. Okay.
I think so. I think somebody just doesn't think that fish should be released. Maybe that's what he meant. Maybe he needs it for his freezer.
Joke. Okay. It's a joke.
Catches and keeps, yeah. Let's see what else we got here.
I've got a 4-year-old grandson. I've got a 9 and a 4. And the 9-year-old, he loves to fish and hunt. He's mostly archery hunting. But my 4-year-old, he will cast his reel out. And if y'all know anything about having kids or whatnot, their attention span's about 30 minutes and they're off to something else. He will squat down and wait for that pole. I mean, all day long. And he said, Nana, when I grow up, I'm going to catch your big fish. And I hope he does. Of course, my big fish will probably be gone. But I hope that he continues to do this because our youth has a very ugly future ahead of them. And the more we teach them to be outdoors, doing outdoor things, the better off they're going to be. Boys and girls.
Yep.
It teaches them problem solving, self-sufficiency if needed. It gives them the enjoyment of being outside. I had someone on here from I had Denny from Tactical Catfishing or Tactical Kayak Fishing, and he says a kid can't hold a cell phone if he's got a rod and reel in his hands. Mm-hmm. And that kind of stuck with me, so take that for what it's worth.
Yeah, they don't mix.
Ladies, we're over an hour now. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about? Maybe you could talk about if you have some sponsors or your pro staff for anybody. Would you like to give them a shout out, maybe?
Yeah, of course. I would love to. I mean, one of my best sponsors locally, Lake County Water Sports. Those guys are amazing. They are the ones who helped me with my boat. They put me in the boat that was perfect for me. I didn't know how to drive a boat. I'd never driven a boat. I think I drove a pontoon once because I rented it, and the guy told me which ways go, which ways stop, and this is how you turn. And I do have to give credits to my tournament partners. I mean, granted, they're guys, so the way they showed me how to drive a boat was sit down and drive. And I was like, what do I do now? You'll be fine. Trust me. So the guys at Lake County Water Sports put me in my boat. They found the best boat for me. They rigged it. They took me out on the lake, and they with one of their guys and said, "This is what you do. This is how you handle." And they were very patient. They call us if you have any questions, anything you need. We're here for you. And they've set me up in the absolute most perfect boat. I got an aluminum bass boat, an Lumicraft with it was an Evinrude motor. Now with Mercury, since Evinrude doesn't do, they're not going to be doing gas motors anymore. But they've been awesome. And of course, another gentleman, Grant Rods. He's actually a local rod manufacturer. He's been doing it for 37 years. Never knew about him because I wasn't in the fishing world. And once I got to know him and his company and his product, they taught me a lot, quite a bit about fishing and the right gear. Because I got to tell you, there's a lot of gear out there, and I can understand if you want to save some money on gear. You know, like Mo, I want to let you know, yeah, it's great saving money on gear. You're learning. It's awesome. Don't spend the money if you don't have to. But as you start to grow in fishing, go ahead and start and learn what your gear can do for you. Then what you do is you buy the gear that solves your problems. You don't buy the gear for the brand name. You buy the gear that solves your problems, because everybody's got different problems and different skills. So, and like Grant and Rods, they've been phenomenal with teaching me about that and helping me, in, getting me exposed in the fishing community. They've also been great about getting me out there, giving me a chance to do seminars and trade shows and talk to other professionals. So those guys have been fantastic with me. So thank you, Lake County Water Sports and Grant Rods. You guys have been amazing.
I've got several sponsors, but my two biggest is Steve Douglas, because I feel like that he has some of the best products out there. Steve has helped me a lot. He's taught me a lot. And Chris Flores, Muddy River Catfishing Rods, he has been super, super, super great to me. And I think he's going to have a surprise at the Catfish Conference with a new rod. So y'all might ought to keep in the loop on that one. I got to keep my mouth zipped on it. Tack on cat hooks. And Mo, I'm going to tell you, I caught my 88-pound catfish on a Walmart rod. So that goes to show you don't have to start, with the greatest or whatnot. But as you progress, you want to upgrade because, things can happen. You want a better product, a stronger product and whatnot. And I'm at that point, and that's why I push Muddy River Catfishing Rods, Chris Flores. I mean, he's got some of the best rods you could ever ask for. He's got a new one coming out first of the year. I'm not going to say anything else about it. But and for instance, Steve Douglas. Steve Douglas is the Catfish. He's what started catfishing, and his rod holders, they are the best. And he's got rods. He's got braid line. I mean, he's got everything. So I'm pretty proud of them. And one of my very first sponsors was First Stop Outdoors, which is a local company. And he is a bass, big time. He puts on a lot of bass tournaments. But he saw something in me, I guess, that no one else seen. And he made a post that I consistently catch large catfish weekly, and he sponsored me first, and that probably meant a lot, more to me because he's a local friend.
That's awesome.
I have a sponsor. She's upstairs in bed watching.
And you know,
TV.
Mo, if you have a local local bait shop, they're usually more than willing to talk to you about, different things and help you understand what you need. We have a place here called Latonia Bait and Tackle. Awesome people. If we're looking at something, they'll be like, oh, we, have seen this in action. These are the issues that other people have had with it. These are the good things about it. So they may be able to help you out there too.
Okay.
And don't go targeting at first. Just catch a fish.
Mhm.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, truthfully, Chad targets catfish. I fish for whatever bites my hook. I'm happy.
See, we went up to, I don't know if you guys know what Shields is. Have you ever been to a Shields?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
order.
So we go to Shields and we're like, oh, let's go look at fishing poles. And you're just like, right.
Overwhelmed, right?
So I
You
bought
gotta
these.
find the one that fits you.
Yeah.
What I bought.
You
Those
know.
things right there, just because they're cute.
I love those. Those are mega bass dark sleepers. I know exactly what those are.
I bought one that's a half ounce, and I bought one that's a quarter ounce, and I let the clerk guy pick them out. I said, pick me out too. I got to take something
You
fun
get
home.
it. You'll get it, and I can't wait to see you 6 months from now or a year from now, because you will have gotten it, and each and every one of y'all, me included, we're already established, and there's nothing but up from here. I refuse to go down. I'm going up. With the support of other women and men. And I think us four, I started to say six, but you're a man. Us
Thank you.
four are making a way for other women. And never, ever sell yourself short. Don't ever sell yourself short, because you are just as good as the next person.
I was in your shoes 2 years ago, Mo. I've been there. Trust me.
Yep.
I'm
Me too.
nobody.
We all have.
I'm
We all
nobody
have.
big. Nobody big. I've just put in a couple years of time. So I'm starting to get to the point where I'm catching bigger fish. So I mean, bigger to me. So
Right.
you get there. You get there. I started knowing nothing. I mean, I fished with a worm on a hook. That's what I did. I fished for anything
Exactly.
that fit. And there's nothing wrong with that either,
Yep.
because I still love catching bluegill. I love
Right.
catching crappie.
Yes.
I mean, that stuff, that doesn't change. I mean, but yes, and now I do target now. But I still can go out there and throw a worm on a hook with a bobber and catch anything under the sun and have a blast.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Just don't
Well,
get
I want to say it has been an honor to be on this, I want to say, panel with each and every one of y'all. It has truly been an honor. And I hope someday that we can all fish together.
Yes, that's going to
That'd be
happen.
awesome.
I want to see
That'd be-
pictures.
Yes.
Cool.
See lots
Well,
of-
we might show pictures, we might not.
I want to thank you, ladies, for coming on. I really appreciate it. We're well over the hour, and I thank you very much for your time. I hope that the people out in the audience, especially the not the regulars, because I know a lot of the regulars in here know exactly what's going on, and some of the stuff being spouses and such, and knowing people, who fish and stuff, that they can realize and appreciate what the additional challenges that ladies do have in fishing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
You guys made my
Thank
you guys
you
made
very
my
much.
Yep.
you
Thank
guys
you,
made
Mark.
my night easy tonight. And when I got tongue tied earlier, that's because I didn't know how to say what I was going to say. But you guys said it great for me. So it's me. That's
Thank
like
you
my
very
politeness
much.
I was trying to cut out. I'm trying to figure out how to talk to you without talking down to you, which I can definitely understand what you guys are saying. Not that I would.
I
but
mean,
it-
even if you talk down to us, we will correct you
oh, thank you. I
in a hot minute.
I'd like that. I like that, my ladies. I like strong ladies. So, and all five of you are that. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Good luck on all your tournaments. Good luck this weekend, Violet. Good
Thank
luck
you,
in your
Thank you.
endeavors.
Good luck.
Starting Mo. Betty, you had a great week. You got to cool off
Let
for a little
them
bit.
know that Let them know that tomorrow's Violet's 21st birthday.
Violet, you turn 21 tomorrow? Wow. That has to do with something that happened back in the green room. But yeah, thank you, ladies, very much. Have a wonderful night, and thank you for your time. I appreciate it, and keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
All right, everybody.
Good night.
Good night. God bless.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Good night.